Hello. I'm going to be talking to you about the joys of spring and the renewal of the year, but don't relax because there's a bit of a sting in the tail. Oh, that's a pun. All right, before I carry on, I'll tell you I'm Granniopteryx and I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. I'm also on Twitter, Gab and Parler, where I am at Granniopteryx. I let you know when I've uploaded a new video on those platforms. Please like this video, please share it. Please subscribe, and if you're subscribed to me on YouTube, remember you have to check that you are still subscribed. And you can support me financially. There's Buy Me a Coffee, there's the bouncing mug next to me by the time I've finished editing this video. And there are a couple more links. It's all in the description. Everything I've spoken about is in the description, all the links, everything like that. Okay, so I'm going to talk about spring because I was talking about spring before and somebody said, it's not officially spring yet. And I don't know whether it is or not, but I do know that the plants and the animals seem to think so. Birds have their own schedule. The other couple of weeks ago, I was in the stables grooming my horse when two birds suddenly flew past my head. And I don't mean they did it in a line. They were face to face with their wings flapping. I don't know how they stayed aloft actually, but yes, they were fluttering about each other like that and then twisting around each other and zipping up and down and normally they're sparrows. They nest in the barn. It's a good place. It's out of the wind and the rain, and there are occasional pickings of spare grain and that sort of thing to be found on the floor. So this is an ideal place for them. But they do avoid people. They fly high in the eaves. But this time they were completely oblivious to my presence, and they were fluttering about and circling each other and flapping and then swooping off and straight past my face on several occasions. They didn't mind because it's spring and the sap is rising. Now, as well as that, when I ride my horse through the woods, the flowers, the early spring flowers, are all popping through. There are daffodils in the woods. Underneath the trees, there are crocuses and snowdrops in the sides of the pathways, and tiny little, I don't know what they're called. They're like tiny miniature daffodils. They're perfect little daffodils, but about that big, no bigger than the crocuses that they're growing among. So there's a carpet of purple and white and yellow there in the dark underneath the trees. And of course the trees themselves, you can see little green bits coming out where the leaves are starting to bud. And then, of course, there's the silence of the woods and some birds tweeting and the clip-clop of my horse. And I am very, very fortunate to be in that environment. And it's because of that I'm going to be talking about how unfortunate so many women are throughout the world. In many Muslim countries, for instance, this is about the best a woman can hope for in regard to any equine travelling. How many women around this planet can go out on horseback on their own in deserted woods without thinking of any more danger than the possibility of the horse spooking at the horrors of a horse-eating fluttering leaf? A woman like me riding through the woods, that can't happen in many countries. And in many of those countries, the woods would have been cut down for fuel anyway. We take all this freedom for granted almost everywhere in the West, and we don't appreciate it. We don't appreciate that. And then we have this sort of thing here. This is a tweet from someone called Asra Nomani. This is embarrassing to watch, she says. The man who refused to shake Kate Middleton's hand practices a puritanical Islam that makes him sinful and dirty if he shakes a woman's hand. Kate should study Iran and not accept forced hijab culture. It's, you have to be careful about that word there, culture. Let's play this video. You see, she's coming into the mosque and she's wearing a hijab. Now, I can understand her covering her hair if she were attending a ceremony where they were going to be praying. But this is just a social visit. Why is she wearing a head covering? This isn't a political, religious sensibility. This is giving way. And you can see there are people here who don't give way because at this point, now watch this, she extends her hand. He's very respectful, but he won't touch her hand because that's not his custom. And that's fine. I don't object to that. But then I do object to her wearing the scarf because that is not her custom. That is her giving way to his custom. And I find that objectionable. And I find that objectionable for the reason I gave before. Because I want the world to be safe for my granddaughters. And it won't be if we take on a culture that suggests that women need to be suppressed all the time. All right, well, we can all think about that till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the granniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.